these are the project file structures. So before this going into the thing, we will see what exactly is the project structure and why do we need to understand the project structure as a main important part of it. You need to understand this. First, I'll just explain you about package.json. So I'll just click on this package.json. So you can see this is the package.json. This particular package.json will give you the entire structure of your Angular application. So you can see that the entire structure of your Angular application is being explained in this particular package.json file, and mainly it is used for your configuration settings and it gives you the metadata. And here in the configuration settings you can just see that. So here you can just see one, I'll be explaining here. So you can see the name of your project, the version of it. Here you can see the scripts. So ng start, whenever you would like to start your application. So that is when you would like to start your application, you need to start the server. So that is ng start, ng server, which will help you to invoke the application. And then when you want to build this particular component, entire application should be built, then you will be using ng build. Okay, and your configuration settings during building, if you would like to watch and execute how exactly it is working, so you can just use watch and you can see the configuration development. And when you would like to test your application, then you will be using ng test. So these are the scripts which you will be using when you are starting an application, to build the application and to test your applications. So you can see that information and you can see the dependencies. So here you'll be able to see the dependencies here. The dependencies, there are two types of dependencies here. One which is called as dependencies. You can see here dependencies, and the second one is called as div dependencies. So you can see two types of dependencies here. So you can see two types of dependencies. One is dependencies and the other one is div dependencies. So in dependencies, you can see at Angular, animation, common, compiler, core, platform, that is platform browser, and all these stuffs are RxJS, TSLib, and Zone.js. So what is the use of this particular dependencies? So all these dependencies which are identified as a dependencies which will help you to execute your application. So your application should be executed means you need to have all these dependency files. So this is where you are using dependencies. So this will help for you to execute or run your Angular application. So compiler will help you to compile your application. Core will help you to create the core part of it. You can use even core when you are upgrading from one version of Angular to another version of the Angular. Then forms, then animations, and all these stuffs. And then you have div dependencies. So what is this div dependencies? Div dependencies are used for the developers. Means these are the dependencies which are used during development of your application. So during the development of your application, you need the compiler CLI, you need CLI, you need Jasmine. What is Jasmine here is you have two things. One is called as Jasmine, which will help you to write your scripts. That is, Jasmine is used for testing. So you will use Jasmine for writing the test scripts. Then you have Karma. Karma you will be using here. You can just see Karma. Karma will be used for executing. It is a runner which will help you to execute your test scripts. So Jasmine is used to write your test scripts. Karma is used to execute your test scripts. So for the development, during development, what and all you need, the developer will need, that is there under div dependencies. And for executing your Angular application, it is under dependencies. So this is how exactly your package manager will be recited. So any doubts on this package.json file? Clear?
No, core.
What ma?
Add the Angular core? Repeat.
Core. So one is core is nothing but it will just give you the version. Now the latest version in which we have installed is 13.1.0. So now when you are trying to install it, it will try to install the Angular 13. Okay, so this is how exactly it is. Core means that is the core, the basics of the basic part of it. So now if your application, for example, you have written an Angular application which is in 9 or which is in 10, you want to convert that into 13, then you can just use update Angular CLI. I'll just give you the command Angular CLI to Angular core. Then what will exactly happen is the entire application will be updated to that particular version. Now when you people are installing, you can see that it has been installed. The core means the latest version, the core part of it is 13.1. That is how you can just use a core. Any doubt?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay, so this is how exactly the package.json file is used. Okay, so the next part of it is tsconfig.json. So you have tsconfig.json. So now this is the tsconfig.json this is TypeScript configuration file. So this is used for your TypeScript configuration file. So this particular file is mainly used for having some setting of your compiler. So this will give the settings of your TypeScript compiler. Okay, so you can just see here strict template means the template Angular compiler option. So enable I18 in a legacy message format, that is injection parameter, input access modifier, strict templates. So you can see that which module it is used, whether it is true or false. Means strict means type strict, it is true. Then you have this international language conversion, that is from different languages, whether it is true or format. Injection, whenever you are trying to inject some parameters, whether you would like to give specification for the compiler. So what exactly happens is when you are TypeScript classes are being compiled, it will first go to this particular file. It will see which are the things which are be enabled. Based upon this particular settings, only your TypeScript will be, the compiler will work, and it will try to convert that into the JS files. So this conversion of TS files into JS files is transpilation. So the entire settings of this transpilation will be specified within this tsconfig.json file. And then you have tsspec.json. So what is this tsspec.json as? This is used for your TypeScript. If you would like to test the classes, TypeScript classes, then you can just use the spec.json. The configuration of test cases which has been written for TypeScript can be written in this TS configuration spec.json. So this is how this particular file has been used. Okay, and then one more thing I just would like to just tell here. Okay, then you have here you can just see karma config.js. So what is this karma config.js? This particular file will help you to identify the configuration settings for you to test your application. So you'll use here Jasmine. Jasmine will help you to write your test scripts. Okay, and then the next part of it is Karma will help you to execute the test scripts. So any idea about testing?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay, so I'll just give you one example. Okay, so you have a login screen.